Production.
Alright, what's up, gang? So, looking at Galaxy Digital. It's been a while since I've done a breakdown here on a video version. So, let's start from scratch, right? What are we looking at in DeFi? What do we see? How can we prepare? Let's get a general understanding of this, from a technical point of view. I think a lot of us are aware of, Galaxy, the way I think of it. Imagine like a spider web or an octopus. That web or that octopus at the center is Galaxy, and then they expand their business into all these different areas in the crypto space and now AI, right? So they have an AI data center, potentially in the next 5 to 10 years going to be one of the biggest AI data centers in the world. If you think AI, the technology behind it, if you think we're going to be using AI more, if you think they're going to be creating more AI data centers to power overall, like the intelligence as a whole is going to increase and AI technology is going to be used more, one part of Galaxy's business is going to be AI data centers. If they can provide all this compute to other companies, that'll be very beneficial in terms of revenue that they are receiving on a yearly basis, right? This could be, who knows, turn into $1 to $5 billion of revenue per year just from having AI data centers. That's not including Galaxy One. That's not including GK8. That's not including all the assets they have under management, all the ETFs that they've sponsored and helped with, all the, the DATs that they've partaken in, and other venture capitalist investments. They have this huge web or legs in terms of their business and revenue streams. They have so many different areas they can, reach out to in the spaces. This is massively bullish. If you think crypto and AI are going to grow in the next 5 to 10 years, Galaxy is a great way to get some alpha on that. They're going to grow with those spaces, right? What can we see crypto in the next 5 to 10 years? Somewhere in between the $5 to $10 trillion in market cap potentially. What about AI? The AI industry can grow into, who knows, trillions. It could be many trillions. Galaxy's going to have, some skin in the game there. They're going to grow with that industry as well, right? That's the thesis. Overall, from a fundamental perspective. Where can we see that now technically? What I've been going on about the last few years now is what we're seeing is like a massive pattern happening, and it's happening over many years. It's going to take time to, of course, each phase is going to take time to play out, right? We had that first cycle, massive push. That's our phase 1. We had the bear market and the accumulation phase. That's phase 2. It looks like we've had our phase 3, right? Our phase 3 was about a 10x. We went around from $3 to $63. That's more than a 10x. If you're calculating that from the very bottom to the top, right, that's almost 16x, right? So huge gains were made in the past few years on Galaxy. That's our wave 3, let's say. If this is the top of our wave 3, we got to look for wave 4, which is our corrective move, which could bring us back down to potentially $20. I'd say that is like where we'd want to hold, like for sure. We'd want to hold this major area, right? So let's mark this out here. This is the area, if we were to come back into, we'd want to see massive demand. I think this would be a crazy buy opportunity for Galaxy. It would line up with our wave 4 pullback if it does go that deep and we are entering a bull market or have been in a bull market the past couple months, right? If this is what we're potentially looking at here, somewhere in this zone, we could expect a wave 4. This is where you'd want to be the next major buyer if we are in some sort of a bear market. And then up until 2028 to 2030, we'd expect this move. Okay? That's what we're looking at in Galaxy. Now, you could look at it in many different ways. This could be maybe one massive inverse head and shoulders. If that's how you're looking at it, sure. How can we, expand on that? If this is the thesis, it's an inverse head and shoulders that's been developing for a few years. We get this massive breakout of the inverse head and shoulders. Here's our neckline technically in this area. Let's clear this up a bit. This is our neckline. Then we're hanging around our neckline right now. Inverse head and shoulders. Here's the neckline. Now we've broken out, and now we're just retesting and absorbing, creating new accumulation in this range, right? So there's a couple different ways we could look at it. Let's say we're not going to get this 70 to 90% pullback bear market, and we're actually just going to base around this zone. Then what we'd want to see is this next area up here to become our new demand, right? An accumulation zone would have to base out in this area. Maybe it takes a few months. That's what we're looking at. If we see some sort of pattern consolidating this breakout move, right into previous resistance, retest it as support, and then we get our breakout, think about how bullish that would look long term. What does that mean? Again, this is the weekly time frame. Kind of, it usually happens a lot faster. I'm exaggerating. Maybe it could go that long into late November 2026. But maybe this is what we're looking at, some consolidation for a few months. Retest this previous breakout zone. Create a new accumulation, a new demand. Then we break out. All right, so you might see some sort of capitulation in that case, right? It's going to look very bearish. It's going to continue this like kind of weak price action. Like every bounce we get, it just gets rejected. It doesn't seem like we have any momentum from the bullish perspective, but in reality, what's happening is we're just creating, a new base above previous all-time highs. I'm leaning towards this being one of the more better case scenarios, right? Another scenario would be, again, that we retest this base down here, which is around $15 to $20 Canadian. If so, then we're going to see that sharp 1 to 3 correction, which could bring us into the end of Q1 2026. And then we base out sideways, right? So we'd have to reaccumulate in this zone, base out sideways before we get that move to the upside. Okay, so that's another point of view or another perspective of how I'm looking at Glxy for the next few months. And that's pretty much it. Again, right? You think about what's happened with Glxy. In order for them to grow, they have to distribute a lot of the shares amongst many other shareholders. So Glxy's kind of breakthrough moment in 2025 was getting uplisted onto the NASDAQ. What does that mean? So many more eyes, a lot more money available to get flown into the stock. We've seen that. We've seen a massive price increase since the rumors of them getting that NASDAQ uplisting, right? The rumor comes out on a Monday that they're going to be uplisted late May. You see price immediately ramp up 100%. We make our highs all the way up to $62 Canadian after the uplisting, and now we're just consolidating. So it's going to take some time. I know a lot of people are upset. We made our highs here, 64.37. If we base out and all we're doing is, consolidating down to a previous all-time high, reaccumulating a new base, we could see a 60%, maybe 65% pullback from the previous high. Right? That would still bring us, towards some of the higher prices that we've been at in 2025. Worst case, we do get this big bear market consolidation. We go from 64 down to 20. That'd be like a 75% correction. And these are kind of just a few different things that I'm like trying to imagine in this scenario, right? Like the stock's not going to play perfect, especially if we have such a weak market in terms of crypto. And if, the NASDAQ and AI stocks and all those risk-on stocks do consolidate and retrace, you're going to see Glxy, unfortunately, participate to the downside in that as well. That's the breakdown, man. Overall, I'm still bullish. Why? Again, the big overarching theme is that there's a massive pattern going on, and we're only in ending of the wave 3 of this pattern. So this wave 4, this is going to be the next best time to position yourself, because the wave 5 will eventually come, right? So that is what we're looking at. That could be a 27 time. It could be middle of 26 is when we start to see that reversal. The more aware you are of the different situations, the better you can, prepare yourself and position yourself. That's all I'm really trying to do with this channel. Share my technical thoughts, point out some areas where, you'd want to be optimistic, where you don't want to be fearful. Couldn't nail the top here, you're never really going to nail the top, but you could still create, like the videos was posting in the past still helped me, visualize what could potentially happen and still secure some great capital gains on this. That's the breakdown here on Glxy, man. Pretty straightforward. Peace, guys.